The first thing, and one of the most important things, is keep them out of the front seat. They're a distraction to you, and they can cause, they can go up underneath your feet. They can cause you to accelerate, brake, a lot of different things that you don't need to do. People think it's really cute to have them in their laps and all. Guys, it's a distraction. Number two, these dogs with their heads hanging out the windows, if you want to lose an eye, just keep doing that, because all we have to have is a piece of road debris fly up, and I've seen it here several times, hit them in the eye, and if we don't lose the eye, we're going to have permanent damage done. So bugs can fly up, debris off the road can fly up. It's hanging the head out the window. It's cute, but you can hurt your pet. Again, in the front seat, if you are in an accident, the airbag can do the same thing to your dog that it does to you. It can kill you. You can get shrapnel. There's all kinds of different things that can happen. The same injuries that we can obtain in a car wreck because of the airbags, the dogs will see the same thing. Something else people don't realize is that a 60-pound dog, this dog weighs 50 pounds, but a 60-pound dog in an accident at 35 miles an hour pushes 2,700 pounds of force. So if you can imagine getting hit by something that weighs 2,700 pounds, which would be like an ATV, then don't listen to what people are saying. The best way to transport your dogs is, of course, in a carrier. They need to be big. It needs to be big enough for them to be able to stand up, turn around, and lay down comfortably. And you can also tether the carrier in the back, and they make special ropes and attachments to tether these carriers. Unbeknownst, if you tie a carrier in wrong and you're in an accident, you can actually crush the carrier and crush it on top of the dog, and of course that's not good. Other things that we see, people want to tranquilize their dogs and all. That's a mistake if you're going on a long trip, because if there is an accident or something happens, you run the risk of having some problems with anesthesia and things like that, because you've already initiated a tranquilizer. Now, myself, I was in a car wreck when I had my Siberian Husky, and my Tahoe actually flipped over. And the only thing I remember when that happened is Cheyenne came flying by me, and I was able to reach out, kind of like grabbing for a kid, I guess, and I pulled her up next to me in my front seat, and I was buckled in, and when the car stopped, we were both upside down, but I had her, and she had been in the back. So she flew from the back all the way up to the front, and I just, grace of God, was able to grab her so she didn't get hurt. But it actually happened to me, and I know what'll happen. So,
as far as the products on Amazon go, I'm going to twist this real quick, just so it's a little bit down. On Amazon or wherever you're finding like a car seat situation or the tether situation, what are some of the important things to look out for in terms of like making sure you get the right size, making sure that they have enough space to move around so they're not being choked, making sure you're using a harness instead of a collar, just tips and tricks for people who are looking for those kind of contraptions.
Yeah, never tether the collar. You could even hurt your pet if you slam the brakes on and don't have a wreck. But it's just like, a noose around your neck. It'll go so far and snap. The best thing is the harness. They make these new harnesses now that you actually buckle in to your seat belts. Those work pretty good, but tethers and leashes and things like that, those are not good ideas.
And I feel like you answered all my questions. Yeah, you talked about sitting in the front seat is not a good idea, laps not a good idea.
Yeah, distractions.
Oh, what about people who like to put dogs or animals in the bed of a truck?
Okay, you want to ask that one? We don't see it that often anymore because people have kind of gotten smarter, but we used to see every Tom, Dick, and Harry with their dog in the back of the truck. Well, I have seen in 30 years plenty of accidents where the dogs have been thrown out and they come in with these horrible road rash burns and stuff and broken legs, broken necks. There's no way for them to stay in the back of a truck if there's an accident or if you got to slam on the brakes. Plus, some of these guys like to walk the walls of the truck beds, and all you have to do is move a little bit funny and they lose their balance, out they go. So, you know, I wish years ago they would have passed a law about that. Of course, they never did. Back to the old property state, and you can do with your property what you want to do, but you need to be smart and not do things like that.
And overall, why is it important to think about your pet's safety when you're driving?
They can get hurt just as bad as you. And again, we get back to the distraction part of it. And if you are distracted, or you know, you reach around to, no, don't do that, or come up here, you end up hitting somebody on a motorcycle or something else, and then there's a bigger problem.
So best case scenario, what would you say?
You always want them behind the front seats, or if you're in an SUV, in the back of the SUV where the third seats would be. Cheyenne used to always ride. I trained her to stay behind my driver's seat on the floor, and she wouldn't get up in the seats and all. You know, if we stopped, she would get up and look out the window from the floor. But I taught her to stay down there, and of course that was before all the harnesses and stuff came in. And like I said, if I hadn't taught her like that when I did have that wreck, I probably would have lost her.
In terms of training dogs in the car, what would you recommend in terms of when to start that?
Oh, right away. You know, the earlier the better, and it's just like teaching a dog to sit. You just teach them that you know, this is where you're going to be, and that's what you're expected to be.
So in the instance that owners are not able to be there if an accident does happen and they're trying to identify a dog or figure out what to do with an animal that's been in an accident, what are the most important things that owners can do to be proactive about a situation like that?
Well, those you kind of want to put that into your I'm getting ready to go on a trip scenario. Be sure your dog is up to date on the vaccinations. If they're wearing a collar, be sure they've got an ID tag on the collar. Most of the clinics on their rabies tags, you flip them over and you can engrave with an engraver your name, address, phone number, that kind of good stuff. Microchip, microchip, microchip. Dogs get lost. All you do is take them into the vet or take them into one of the pet stores. They'll do their scanner and they can, you know, hook them back up with the owners much quicker. Pack a first aid kit. Keep that in your car with them. If you're going on a trip, be sure you pack them a doggy bag, have some extra food, be sure you carry extra water. Plan on making frequent stops. And again, let them ride in the back of the vehicle.